Hey friends, and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and today is a very exciting day. Today is the day we finally get to start working on putting the weed cloth down in the garden. So let me catch you up a little bit and tell you kind of what we've been working on. We last week were able to get the garden all rototilled. And the reason that we're rototilling rather than doing a no-till method is because we have incredible soil out here. Oh, it's a dream. So there's really no use for us to do kind of the lasagna or bringing in amendments because our soil is naturally so good out here. So rather than bringing things in, we just focus on crop rotation in order to make sure that the right nutrients are in the ground. But that's about all we have to do. We live in ag land, and so with that comes really great soil. Then, because we kind of tilled it the long way and then we went and did it the short way. So we've tilled twice now. And last year we didn't do weed cloth. We had a teeny tiny little tiller that didn't do a whole lot. We were basically just using normal land. And because of that, we had a terrible problem trying to keep up with the weeds. So this year we're going to be laying down woven weed cloth in all of the garden. And a few things we need to make sure of. One, it's secure because we are in Wyoming and wind is no stranger to us. So I need to make sure that we find a way to secure it into the ground so that the weed cloth isn't blowing around, ripping the plants out, and is super secure for 40, 50, 60 mile per hour winds on the regular. So I'm gonna get going with that today. First, we're gonna need to lay out the weed cloth and get it cut for our appropriate length, and then I'm gonna work in a few boards in order to drill those boards into the ground to make sure that it is super secure for all of those winds. So without further ado, let's get started on getting the weed cloth cut. So one thing I learned very early on in this is you need to burn it, don't cut it. When you cut this kind of fabric, it creates all of these crazy frays, and that's just not ideal to work with. So instead, you need to burn. This little tool, it's just works much better because you can actually point it down and the gas won't go out. So highly recommend this rather than a standard blowtorch. So the next thing I'm going to do, and if you don't live in a windy region, you probably don't need to do this, but I'm actually going to, it's going to sound wild. I'm going to wrap this board in one layer of the fabric. That way I can drill big 12-foot nails into this to help it stay in the ground. So I'm basically going to build a trench in the garden and then drill these into the trench in order to help this from not blowing away. And then I want it to be really tight, so I'm just going to nail the sections as flat as possible. That way it'll hold tight for me so I can roll it nice and snug. And then to hold, I'm just going to staple it for now. All right, so now that we have that all attached to the front piece of the wood, I'm going to carry it down and we are going to start leveling out the garden, making sure that the land is really level and flush before we put this down. And then we're going to put our first row of wheat tarp in. So let's head down to the garden. So next thing I'm going to do is just dig a quick trench right along the side here so that the board can lay flush. This ground right here has chicken wire in it right here. So that's why there's still some grass there. We might have to do something about that later, but for now, I'm just gonna bud it up as close as I can without getting it tied up into the chicken wire. And that's kind of how we ensure that the chickens can't get into the garden, because I'm not looking to put in all this work and then have the chickens eat everything. So we'll dig a quick trench and then we will bring the weed cloth in. Okay, so for this weed cloth, we have to remember we have wicked, wicked winds. So I dug the trench. I've got beaver kind of in the corner. That's so the chickens can't get into the garden as well. So I need to push this board all the way up against the edge, underneath that block though, so that the chickens still can't get in. And then I think I'm going to just hold it with a cinder block for now, just to make sure that it's positioned right. I have everything where I want it. We'll roll it out. We'll kind of peg it along the way, and then we'll come back in and kind of drill these into the ground once everything seems correct. And I just want this to sit super tight. So for now, I'm just gonna use these kind of temporarily. Just a rubber mallet, and then I've got these 6-inch posts, and then these go inside it just to hold it with a little bit more surface area. So I'm just gonna hammer these in. All right, so next I have to get my weed cloth around this guy. I don't have a plan for it. So remember, we're burning, we're not cutting. So looking at the weed cloth here, I know that I need to go up and over, but I need the hole to be approximately right here. So here's the thing, if I burn a hole and it's not in the right spot, it's okay. We can patch it up with another little scrap piece or throw something down, so I'm not super worried about it. But basically I see it needs to be, with this pulled tight, like right here. So I guess I'm just gonna burn a hole. We're gonna see. I'm sure if my fiance was here, he would have 1.5 million better ways to do this. And then this tarp is really heavy, so we're just gonna do our best. Ladies, if I can do this on my own, you can do this on your own. We've got this. Well, we were close, but not quite there. Okay. Actually, my first hole was perfect. Just needed to be a little longer to reach over. Oh, this is perfect. So you can see my hole is just a little bit too long, and I have material right here. I'm just gonna stake it right in the middle. Wow, no big deal, that's perfect. Good job, we got this. Okay, now we need to secure this fence piece here. So what I'm gonna do is I just have these 12-inch landscaping stakes. So I'm literally just going to drill these in. I've drilled them along the outside edge here, and I will do the inside edge. Once I get the next layer on top, we'll do about a 6-inch overlap. So I'll kind of use this to hold the two pieces together. But what I'm gonna do is drill a pilot hole using the drill. And then I just have fender washers here that fit onto the landscaping posts just to give it a little bit more surface area in order to attach to. So I literally am just going to drill a pilot hole into the fence post, which is that piece of wood that we laid down here. And then I just use a rubber mallet and pound it in the rest of the way. So we'll have about 12-inch stakes to help hold everything down. Like that, and then I'm gonna do one here, one in the middle, and then one on the other far end. wind is coming up, so I'm gonna stop what I'm doing, rolling it out, and I'm gonna secure the two pieces together. So as you can see here, we have a pretty good overlap. And all I'm gonna do is just take another landscaping spike and a fender washer, and I'm just going to pull the two pieces together and then stick the fender washer between the two pieces where I know there's good overlap. And then I'm just gonna go between the temporary pins that I put in. I am leaving the temporary pins in. They're just a little bit less of a permanent solution than, say, these spikes and the fender washers, just because those are super industrial. Those will not be going anywhere. So basically the way I have it laid out is between the two pieces, I overlapped them a little bit like this, and then I just have a temporary, a fender washer with a spike, temporary, and we're just going down the row every other. All right, friends, I had to do an outfit change. I got very hot, had to get some sunscreen, some water. So here is the progress we currently have. I've got 3 rows down, and the wind has started to pick up, and everything has been super secure so far. So I'm feeling good about that. So let's get going on our 4th and potentially final row. So exciting. Okay, so we are at the end of the row, and I just wanted to show you, now that I've had my fair share of time doing this, I wanted to show you kind of the most practical way for laying the boards at the end of the row and how to use the tools so that you don't have any issues with the weed fabric. So let's jump into that, and then we'll get this project wrapped up. Okay, so then I just put the board underneath the weed cloth, and I like to wrap the board around all the way on top of itself, just so that it's a little bit more secure. So I can hear my goat calling, which means he just got his head stuck in the fence. So I'm gonna go get him freed, and we'll be right back. I've just been taking the tarp stuff and staple it on. Then just roll it up and set it into place. And then we're going to get our drill and our stakes. So I know I'm going to be drilling right here, so I'm going to put the drill in there. I'm going to pinch it with my knees, put weight behind the drill here, and then you got to go quick, or else it's just going to wrap the weed cloth up in it. So make sure when you decide to go, you got to go. So I'm just going to quick pilot hole, and then I take a stake and a washer, and then drill it in. If you're struggling and you find that the board is moving and you're here alone, just hold the board with your feet, and that'll keep it held in one place if you need to use 2 hands. All right, friends, we are pretty much done for the day. I still need to fill in one of the front sections of the tarp with some dirt, but I'm getting sunburned. I'm gonna need some dinner here soon, so I think we're gonna call it a day here soon. I'll get that area filled in, but I just wanted to show you kind of what we have accomplished, and then show you kind of my trouble area. I'm sure we'll get that solved here in the next few days, but it's just not gonna happen today, and that's all right. So let me show you around and show you everything that I've done. All right, so when you come into the garden, this is what it looks like. And then here's all the tools from today. I'm gonna do some thinking and figure out what we wanna do here. Here's a look at that area. There's just a ton of raspberries popping up. Literally everywhere. All right, friends, well, all we have to do now is finish this one strip, add in the irrigation, which I will take you along with me for as well. I'm not going to put that in quite yet because we do have a few more freezes, believe it or not, in the forecast, and so I just don't want to push it. So we will get that all finalized once the freezes are gone. But I think that's it for the day. Thank you so much for coming and taking your time to hang out with me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one. Thanks for joining. Bye.